Hello. This video is about encouraging people, particularly the youth, to seek out ways of starting out to earn some money for themselves within a growing economy or developing economy like Nigeria. Currently, we have a situation where there are more graduates than there are jobs for them, and basically what that means is that most people are unemployed or underemployed. Now look at it, you go to school starting from nursery, could be 3 years at nursery, 2 or 1, but you do 6 years of primary, 5 for some people, and you do 6 years of secondary school. So between nursery and secondary school, most people would probably spend anything between 11 to 14 years without necessarily repeating. Now you now add that to 3 years if you go to the College of Education for NC, that's National Certificate in Education. About 5 years counting the year you do your IT for Higher National Diploma, or 2 years if you stop at ND level if you go to the Polytechnic, and a minimum of 4 years if you attended university and have a degree. Whatever qualification you have, the job market is already saturated with people who are basically at par with you. The implication of that is that no matter how good you are, you might just fall into the category of those searching for jobs. Now, you don't need to worry about that. All you need to do is look inwards and ask yourself, what do I do better than other people? Now you've identified that it could be more than one, it could be several, it might be multi-talented. You now screen those and look for those things that you do that you get complimented for more often than others and more often than not. Now within those compliments is embedded what we call value. Value is basically the reward or what is gotten from a person, a process, or even a place. You can derive value from several concepts. It depends on the individual, or it depends on each individual to develop to determine or define what value is to him or her. However, what is unique about value is that people are almost always willing to pay for value. Now, once you identify that fact, you now need to hone your skills, develop your skills to such a level that a large enough number of people will be willing to pay for whatever goods you produce or service you deliver. So basically we're not talking about a product. Now developing a product on the individual level here, we're not talking about the corporate level. And I must add here that a business is anything you do which is within the legal boundaries to earn money for profit-sharing reasons. You seek out to earn money as a profit. That is different from seeking out to get money for charity purposes. So you are harness resources and you incur costs, but ultimately you expect that the income you generate from that activity will be in excess of the cost, and you keep the profit for yourself as an income. Now, as an individual who just finished school and is not yet employed, you would, as I said earlier, identify things you are good at and then develop them. Start out as an hobby. So you deliberately now seek to engage in that activity more often. At this stage, it's not about making money yet, but to learn more about this particular thing you are good at. So, for example, you could be good at organizing events. You are the one they go to when your class wants to organize some party or get together or some form of activity outside the normal teacher students relationship in class. And you can take that to the next level. As your friends start getting married, you could help them organize their weddings informally. They might not pay you at all for it. As a friend, you're just helping out to make their special day actually special. Now, by the time you do it for the first person, what starts to get around that, Mr. X helped Y to organize his wedding, and Mr. Z also, wants, a little bit of the action. Thereby, your network starts to expand. Excuse me, it starts to expand, and thereby your value increases. If you continue at that rate, either through arithmetic progression or geometric progression, you will have about 5 or 6 people that you would have helped out in a course of like 3 months with their weddings. Now you by this time you would have garnered enough knowledge and experience to start seeking out prospects that will actually pay you for this service. And you now have a portfolio of work done that you can present. Obviously, it makes sense to take photographs at some of the events that you help organize, or even videos to present to prospective clients. Now, this adds a little bit of marketing, so you need to see yourself as a product first and foremost in this regard. So everything from your looks, from your communication skills and your presentation skills, have to be polished up, and you go out with confidence, to convince whoever it is that you're actually the person, they need to make their wedding special. Now, this doesn't mean you make the money immediately. Actually, there might be people, who con you into doing things for them and don't pay you for it, and you learn from this as well, because in the real world there are people who incur debts, and you need to be able to manage such debts within a business structure. So it's a positive experience. It's all part of the learning curve. You know there is no limit to your capacity to learn in the business. No, this applies to other forms of activity as well. It's not just event planning. It could be football, and this one is quite popular. In fact, many parents nowadays actively encourage their kids to actually play the game. Meanwhile, in years back, I knew when I was growing up, my parents didn't support me playing football that much, although it's not that I was that good. Anyways, if you are talented in football or some other sport, you seek to actively develop the talents. I was watching Chinese television over the weekend, and they were interviewing the first Asian Grand Slam winner in tennis for Asia, Lina's mom, and she was like, you know we sent her out to learn badminton, and our coach said she's more of a tennis player because she plays with her hands than her waist. So the parents shipped their child up to a boarding school where she could learn tennis, and today she's made history for our country and for our family. So it's not limited to any particular endeavor, but the key thing is to seek out what you are best at, and develop those skills to an appreciable level, market those skills, and get paid for them. Now once you start getting paid for those skills, you will need to develop some form of proper accounting practice to know how much you make and how much you spend. So you continue learning. There is a tendency among most graduates or most people to see themselves as defined by their degree. So because they have a degree or whatever qualification it is in engineering, they feel automatically that they can't learn accounting or they can't do marketing, which is totally false. Every activity has to be learned. You have to learn how to walk, how to talk. So there is no act there are very few activities that are innate, that you learn instinctively. Somebody's actually looking at what is this guy doing. Well, I'm making a video. Now, as I said earlier, you need to focus on your talents and develop them. Now we've gotten to the stage of accounting. This is very important. Most people shy away from accounting. They think it's that boring course in secondary school or university that's so difficult to understand. Well, actually, you do accounting every day, because whenever you give the bus conductor your transport fare, you definitely expect change if you deserve change, and you are not collecting change if you are not collecting change. Intuitively, what you've done there is accounting. So you just need to have a clear mind, and slowly but surely use the basic operators in mathematics: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division for starters, and you're up and going. So with these few tips, I hope you will look inwards and seek out to develop yourself. I must add that not everybody will be supportive when you set out. In fact, a lot of people will be skeptical. Some other people, have speakers or writers, have given them some fancy names like dream killers, dream vampires. Well, I don't have such fancy names for them, but they are just people and they are just being themselves. And I hope you should be yourself as well. Because you might be afraid, but you have to try. And in trying is when you know where your limits are and how to, if possible, extend them. And within there lies the key to being successful. So I hope this inspires and helps you in some way to be a better person in business and in life generally. Thank you, and I'll be back with another video sometime in the future. And by the way, I do acknowledge that the lighting here is quite poor. This is somewhat deliberate because I'm not so disposed to flashing my face so openly all over the internet, for no illegal reasons, of course. Just that I'm quite a reclusive person. I'm doing this getting out of my comfort zone to do this. So thank you, and bear with the poor picture quality. Thank you. Bye.